guys, welcome back to episode number 2 of Breakfast with the Boys. It's Wednesday morning. We got our Tim Hortons. Everything's going good. Good morning, fellas. How are we? First episode. That was a lot of fun. Today's agenda, I think, blows it out of the water, though.
Oh, yeah. This is a packed full agenda we got today.
Yeah, just rifling off topics left and right. I really can't wait to get into it.
That's right, Jay Guacamole. I can't wait to get into it either. And right off the hop, this was something that Jack and I were talking about. Now, there was a pigeon, and he was like a racing pigeon from Alabama, and he got sent to like New Zealand or something like that, and he came back, and now there were calls for him to be euthanized so he doesn't potentially affect other birds. Is that what, am I reading that correctly, or am I wrong here?
You are reading that correctly. This was a race pigeon that flew off the track. He went all the way to New Zealand. Tough motherfucker.
And he came back?
Yeah.
Well, and they want to euthanize him?
No, he's in New Zealand. Some guy saw him in his garden and called it in. Like, one for one, what a bird that guy is.
Yeah.
Like calling it,
ratted out
I
a pigeon.
Recognize this pigeon. Yeah, he literally ratted out a pigeon. And what are we talking about here? Is we're going to euthanize this pigeon for the sake of other birds? Are we talking all bird lives matter? Or are we talking pigeon lives matter? Because honestly, I know from America, if a house is burning down, it's not like all lives matter. We're focused on the house burning down. That's all I've heard. So pigeon lives are in danger. So pigeon lives matter. It's not all birds matter. It's pigeon lives matter.
The most Alabama thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was straight out of his 4 years at Alabama, 110%. I love every second of that. But yeah, like, who's trying to euthanize a bird? Like, why can't the bird have the same thing? Like, my dad's in Mexico right now.
That bird has rights.
Exactly. My dad's in Mexico right now for the winter. And I think it would be a damn shame if just because he traveled, he had to be euthanized, that he could hurt other people. Like, why can't they just take this pigeon, put him in a cage for 2 weeks and let him like little pigeon quarantine?
Exactly.
Like he made it all. He went off course. He made it all the way to like New Zealand or wherever. Like, this pigeon deserves better. They should do better. And I'm usually not one to defend pigeons.
Can we get a breakfast for the boys GoFundMe for this pigeon?
I think we might have to look into it. That's terrible. I'll let him live at my house. I'm not worried about him giving me COVID. Like, he's a bird. I mean, I guess the bird flu and stuff, but he probably has other diseases that are a lot scarier than COVID. That would be my guess.
2021, we're talking about pigeons. We're talking about birds. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Can we just bring it back a couple days and talk about the ugliest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life start chirping you, Mancuso? I sit here and I open up my Twitter and I have no idea what's happening. I just see chirps left and right, and I'm clicking on these profiles, and they're the most stereotypical people I've ever seen in my life. Can you give us a backstory on kind of what happened here?
First off, Jay Guacamole, great way to put it. Yeah, hilarious way. Let's see here. I'm gonna just, you know what? I'm already finished in hockey everywhere. I'm pretty sure I'm the most hated guy in the entire industry now. Anyway,
already made the top 10 list of most controversial people in hockey.
That was actually a 20-person list, and I finished only like 17. I feel like we're going right to the top on that.
We're going number 1 this year.
Number 1, yeah. Okay, so what happened was, I'm gonna break it down to you guys. In layman's terms, because I don't want to give it too much stuff. Essentially, Peter, a kid who's going to be hockey blogging for us, said he didn't think that LA Kings prospect Quinton Byfield was good enough for the NHL. Actually, a lot of people are wondering if he's developing on a proper course. I really like Quinton Byfield. I know Jack over there thinks the same thing. I disagree with him, right? And that's fine. So this girl, I don't even remember her name, Rochelle or some shit like that, says, like, you know, basically Byfield's going to be the best, and he just says to her, like, I'm going to save this tweet, as in, like, I'm going to keep it for, like, you know, like freezing cold takes or old takes exposed, you know, those accounts. Like, he was like referencing that. Now it became, because she's a woman, that's the only reason he did that. All the same people you saw showing up to attack me attacked him, except for, you know, I'll say it, he's our guy, but like, Peter's soft in a sense. Like, he deleted and deactivated his Twitter account. He was like off the grid. Like, it really affected him, because he's not a sexist guy.
Yeah, no, and they went above and beyond, right, to track him down.
Yes. So anyway, he tells the story, and whatever, he goes off of Twitter. Now he comes back and it's all done. Like they have each other blocked, but someone sends her a screenshot of him being like, Byfield, because he stunk the rest of the tournament. He stunk. I like Byfield, but he stunk. So he's like, that's funny or whatever. So then she says like, oh, good old Peter Peter Florio from Sault Ste. Marie or something like that, right? So some guy essentially inboxes him, says like, hey, I found you here. I can find you anywhere. Essentially, which to me is a fucking red flag. Like we know how many weirdos there are on the internet. That's not okay. I would be very upset if that happened to any one of those people who were coming on at me. Even still, even after they treated me like less than dirt, I would still be upset if that happened. But whatever, that's what happened. So I call the girl out. I'm like, hey, why is it okay for you to get our guys doxxed? So at first it's silence, right? And then just like you said, a wave of ugly, I guess you said they were the ugliest people you ever seen. So now this ugly wave comes at me and there's
Simp
no
Brigade. The Simp Mutants.
The Simp Mutants from Table 9 come, and it's just one after the other. Some were okay. The one girl was just so unreasonable, maybe the most unreasonable human being I ever talked to in my life. One guy thought he was in like the White Knight Brigade. He's like, I'm not gonna let this stand. Like
Ardo.
he's not gonna let it stand. He just can't. He can't let it stand. So, but you know what, man, I'm with you. Like I could give a fuck. Older people in the game of hockey inboxed me and we're like, hell yeah for standing up to them. Other people in other sports inbox me and we're like, hell yeah for standing up to them. My biggest problem is though, is these people who act like they're our friends, come to our streams, this, that, and the other that are in hockey. Bro, you don't have to defend our content and everything, but everybody knows damn well, if you know me, I'm not a sexist.
And they were silent.
And they were silent. These people were zip-lipped, including people on our own fucking staff, which is for a whole other podcast. And those people are going to get their asses ripped apart because trust me, I ain't fucking happy about it. Jack and Germano came out, my own personal friends who saw it and were like, Mancuso's getting rolled. Like the funny thing is on Twitter, I just don't like these people playing victim to try to advance their careers. And the guys letting them do it are only doing it because they have bad intentions with them sexually. That's how I feel about it. I'm throwing it out there. That's how I see it. I think
the Simp Brigade.
I think they're simps. So
a spade.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I'm going to call it like I see it. And that's how I see it. And that's how it is. But you know what? We've been canceled before. I have had all these same people. I saw Sarah Sivian was liking comments. She'd never open her mouth though, because everybody knows what kind of track record she has. So she should just shut up about anything that has to do with us. But other than that, man, I wasn't too bothered by it. I thought some of the people, like some guys, they were like, oh, okay, he got doxxed. Well, you should have inboxed her. And it's like, well, I was worried that if I inboxed her, she would like black out some of it and like some part of it could be taken out of context. So I was like, fuck this. I'm a blast it in public because I don't want anything to be misconstrued. One of their guys who's a hockey fan and a hockey journalist that's on their side all the time, he stayed out of the fight because I know that he runs hockey card accounts that rip people off for money. We have tons of proof of that. So if I were them, I would just stay away from us. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Stay away from Tarps off, stay away from the boys. James Myrtle of The Athletic, why do you do stuff like that? Because I don't want to buy your paper. Scott Wheeler never played hockey in his life, and that's why I asked what position he played, because to be honest,
what
I
position
wouldn't even
did James Myrtle play?
Simp or water boy. Exactly. See these guys right out the door. I don't care.
James Myrtle, me, you, your front yard, my front yard. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. James Myrtle, take the bus, you weirdo. But it was funny, bro. But yeah, like you said, it was just like a wave of not very good looking people, like not good looking people, like in Sex in the City, boys. Sex in the City, a little, I'm Samantha. I have sex with everybody. Sex in the City's coming back. How do we feel about that? I'm excited.
I mean, I know a lot of guys that they don't like to put it publicly, but they watch Sex in the City. They like it. They look for it for, tips of talking to women, which is probably the worst idea ever.
Yes.
But they do it. And they're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's going to be awesome. It's an iconic show. Like it really is.
They stopped in what, 04, 05, something like that?
Yeah, 04, February of 04. I mean, boys, like, can we give a swing for SJP,
Swing.
Sarah Jessica Parker? Swing. That's right. Absolutely. Like, good to see her back. These Hollywood people, man, like I'm with Venti. I think they have like Illuminati level lotion. These ladies, like, how do you get to be in your 50s and stuff like that and still look that good without like without looking like surgery and stuff? I mean, maybe there's like Botox and shit that I don't understand because I look like an old used baseball glove half the time.
Reptilians and robots.
Oh, reptilians.
And fucking chemtrails over country clubs. That's it. Reptilians, robots, and chemtrails over country clubs, boys.
Put it on
That's
a t-shirt.
it. But yeah, no, it's going to be awesome seeing Sex in the City return. Like you said, it's been 17 years. It was only on TV from 98 to 04. So it's been
6
away
seasons.
longer than it was on TV. It only had 6 seasons. So
I think it'll be good for TV culture. I really do. I think it's going to bring a lot of people back to watch it. I mean, they were nominated 50 times for Emmys. I think they won maybe 7, and then 24 Golden Globe nominations. I looked up that one, which I couldn't believe, and 8 won there as well. So, they're known for being good at what they do, and I think everyone's going to enjoy it, whether you like it or not.
yeah, man, 110%. I think it's going to be great. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to watch it. I like Sarah Jessica Parker. I like Kim Cattrall.
We should do
I
a
like
live
Kristen
stream,
Davis.
a Breakfast with the Boys live watching of Sex in the City.
Dude, we might have to do it for episode 1. Like, if you guys are in, I'm in. I like Sex
It could
in
be
the
like
City.
a
It's
like a
good
book
show.
club, but Sex in the City club.
A
Yeah.
show Betty White enjoyed when she was a teenager.
Speaking of Betty White, shout out to Betty White. That's right. 99 years young.
99.
99 has never looked so good. I love Betty White. I've said this forever. There are like if you gave me a choice, Kim Kardashian 5 years ago or Betty White when she was like 45, 50, I'll still take Betty White. I'm taking Betty White.
Jay would take Betty White today.
I might too, dude. I love her. She has a great sense of humor. She seems like the coolest chick that ever walked the earth.
Sense of humor is what gets me. Even in
she's
her,
so funny.
I think it was when she turned 90, I want to say it was. Don't quote me on this, but she did a skit with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, and Ryan Reynolds is chirping back and forth with her, and her acting is subpar. It's amazing. And she's just being hilarious.
Dude, she's insanely funny. She has a great sense of humor.
Yep. The Golden Girl.
Yeah, she is the Golden Girl. The Golden Girl. So Betty White from the Breakfast with the Boys guys, like, happy fucking birthday. I hope you live for another 99 years. I wish more people in Hollywood and TV were like you because she's just an MVP. She's a superstar.
One of a kind.
She's a golden girl. Now, a guy that I don't think too highly of has been in the news, and that's not really like his acting stuff as much as I think that he's like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like narcissistic asshole. Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and what's her name seem to have split up here. Anna de Armas or whatever how you say it.
Anna something. I think
they were only together for what, a year?
Yeah, they've been together for a year. Anna was super into him. Like, she's 32, he's 48. But you know what? When I read the stuff from the sources here, and I read this from People Magazine, they just were like, it was mutual and it's something that's completely amicable. And then they said they are in different points of their lives. There's a deep love and respect there. But then this is the point. Ben continues to want to work on himself. So it sounds like, I remember Ben Affleck being on like a political debate show and someone dared be conservative on an issue. And he like went off and just seemed like, I'm a big fan of civil discourse, right? I don't care what side you're on, just be respectful to each other. He just seems like such an asshole. He has a history of having a bad temper. Sounds to me like amicable means she was tired of Ben Affleck being an asshole and she's only 32 and he's 48. So.
And I mean, I'm sure she got a pretty big profit out of it. Facts are facts.
Yeah, it was quick, but I mean, if you look at Ben Affleck, look at his track record. He dated Gwyneth Paltrow, he dated J-Lo, Jennifer Gardner. I think he had a couple kids with Jennifer Gardner.
He's got 3 kids with Jennifer Gardner, does he not?
So he'll be fine. You know,
Oh,
as
bro,
us
it's
will
like
have a few months.
Sudeikis last week. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not worried about him as far as it comes
He'll
with
be with a
with
with a
the ladies.
25-year-old next week. Like,
No,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
He'll
Like,
be with Betty White next week.
if there's a God, honestly, he'll be with Betty White next week. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. That would be a talk about a Hollywood power couple. Ben
Yeah.
Affleck and Betty White. That would be
I don't know. I think Guacamole Jay might be with Betty White next week.
It can be us three. I don't care. The Boston boys take Betty White. But if there's one thing too, I hope we can get out of this is more memes or pictures of Ben Affleck holding the Dunkin' Donuts and the Munchkins just coming out of the store looking depressed as hell.
Oh man. Ben Affleck, like, I'm sorry, but like when you give me Damon and Ben Affleck, like give me Damon all day long. Like give me Matt Damon all day long over Ben Affleck. I don't know about you guys, but that's just how I feel about it.
Matt Damon was good in The Departed. Other than that, I don't really care for him. He's funny in his little cameos and Entourage, but
Good Will
not the biggest
Hunting?
Matt Damon.
I was gonna
guy.
say, have you never seen Good Will Hunting or
Good Will
I
Hunting?
have.
Come on.
Kind of a boring movie. in my
Dogma? You haven't seen
You're the
like
you are the last person I would trust with movies because do you want me to bring up the Marvel situation right now?
Oh, bring it
we're
up.
actually we can
Bring
bring
it
this
up.
up. We can bring this up.
I mean, that was the biggest chirp I saw on Twitter. I couldn't believe you said that. Marvel movies is probably one of the best series I've ever seen.
No, they.
I mean, once they brought in the Guardians of the Galaxy into it, it just
Guardians of the
became an
Galaxy is
absolute
hilarious.
joke. It just became funny at that
no,
point.
like anything with
though-
Dave Bautista, like
me and Mancuso versus the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm taking me and Mancuso. Like those are not
Chris Pratt's a
superheroes.
stud.
I'll kick those little muffins across the fucking galaxy.
What about Dave Bautista though? Dave Bautista.
Batista's an animal. His acting might not be the best, but it's still fun to watch.
Yeah. He's a beast, that guy. I saw he's like 50-something years old.
It was his birthday yesterday.
Yeah, it was his birthday.
think, or
I
2
would
days
wish him a
ago.
happy birthday, but I just don't give a fuck
I mean,
about him, so
you
I'm not going to.
You put that lineup up, you still think you could take him? You have Batista, you have Chris Evans,
You
have
got
Chris
Groot.
Pratt.
He's a big
Yeah, you
giant
got
tree man with a
Groot.
fucking
Those movies
raccoon
were
on his
just
back.
boring. There's
No,
too
they
many
were boring.
characters. There's too much going on. I lost interest. I could give a fuck. Like, I mean, the villain honestly owned them. Like, they got lucky. Like, the Justice Squad
Yeah.
would have taken care of them in like probably like 80 seconds. Like
Jack
Conor
means the
McGregor's
Justice
going to
League.
take care of
Yes.
The
whatever.
Justice Squad. I love that.
The
That's my
Justice
favorite.
I don't know how you can get disinterested. I mean, each movie I think is amazing. Like I said, each one has its own unique qualities. Black Panther was amazing when it happened. Shout out Chad Bosman.
Yeah. Rest in
That
peace,
movie
good dude.
sucked. Okay, again.
It wasn't. Honestly, like I like him,
Wakanda
but like
forever.
here's the thing. I liked comic books as a kid, and I find now that the Hollywood social issues are creeping their way. I have you seen Wonder Woman 1984?
No.
I haven't.
I haven't seen it yet, but from all accounts and what I've read online, and I'll watch it myself and I'll make a judgment. Apparently, like it's just like the most anti-men, like feminism, like we hate men movie ever. And it's like,
Is it
those
gonna
weren't
be
what
labeled as
those
a
weren't what
hockey
those
movie?
comics were intended for. They were intended for the women to just be superheroes. Like we don't need to point out the fact. Like the comics never pointed out the fact. Like, you know what I mean? It was never like we had to put a huge fucking thing on race and fucking gender and everything else. It's like, no, just
Yeah.
let the comics be the comics, or else it starts to get disingenuous. That's why when it's like the first ones were the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, like
Those
fucking
are
love
sick.
All right. Yeah,
Those
I'll
are
agree
awesome.
there.
Love them.
That was a great movie.
Those are
fucking
awesome.
All of them are great. And then I thought the first Batman with Heath Ledger, The Dark Knight Rises.
That
or
was the
Dark Knight-
second
The
one.
Dark Knight or whatever.
The
with
Batman stunk. It was boring. That was the first one. Heath Ledger's The Dark Knight was the second
Dark
one.
Knight was awesome. Whatever. Yeah, The
I
Dark
love that.
Knight was awesome. That was an awesome one. But outside of that, it started to just be like, okay, what are they doing? Just going down every comic that they can find for a script because nobody can write something anymore. Like that's where my head goes with these. So it's like I have a hard time getting into it because with the Avengers and stuff, like I can handle one guy, like Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, but when it becomes like the Avengers or a Justice League and there's like a zillion different superheroes and I got to watch like Hulk smash something and then like them not die and it just doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, like if he did that to like a bad guy in a movie, they'd be dead. I don't know. It just it starts to lose its like it's pop with me, I'll say.
Yeah, I respect that opinion. I mean, from my side, I liked watching each individual and seeing them all kind of cross over into one movie. And I'm sitting there and I'm fanboying out just like how I used to do back in the day watching, TV shows like That So Raven would combine with Hannah Montana on Disney Channel. or
Oh,
something like
absolutely.
that.
No, it sucked. It sucked. There was too much going on. You didn't care about the plot. Like even the movie didn't care about the plot. Like
That's
all
hilarious.
like the villain was stupid. The whole thing was stupid.
Speaking of
The
villains,
Avengers
guys,
stink.
I saw one of the great villain moves of all time. This villain move is for anybody who hates their ex, man or woman. I saw one of the great villain moves of all time. Now, on January 6th, QAnon people stormed your Capitol, um, and a girl stole a computer from Nancy Pelosi. I don't know if you guys remember the old cartoon Daria, the girl with the glasses. She was
Sounds
really
familiar.
socially awkward. She used to be on Beavis and Butthead. They did a spin-off of her. That's exactly who this girl looks like. Completely unrelated though. So she steals this computer out of Nancy Pelosi's office. Picture goes out. She is facing like 25 years to life in jail. She apparently was about to sell that laptop to the Russians. And
Jesus.
the way that she got caught by the FBI wasn't through great investigative work. Her ex-boyfriend called them and ratted her out.
Talk about the worst way to go out.
About getting the best revenge on your ex ever. You know, she probably like cheated on him or something.
She
He
had
saw
to
that
have.
picture and he's just like, let's go.
Oh yeah, what's up, bitch?
I've been waiting 10 years for this.
Woo, baby, that is some. I remember back in the day watching the Chappelle show. There used to be a skit called the Player Haters Ball, and they'd all just chant hate, 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 because that was hateful. So when I saw that, I was chanting hate as soon as I saw it.
I
Hate, hate,
can't
hate, hate, hate.
think
I
of an
loved it.
ex that I have though that I'd want to do that to. So she had to do something bad to that dude.
I probably got one. I got one that I definitely wouldn't mind seeing go to jail for 25 years. It's lady jail. It's not as bad as our jail. It can't be that bad.
25 years.
I know. And like you think like he didn't rat her out because it was the right thing to do. Like if you're with
No, he hated her.
ideologically, you think the same. So he was probably just like, oh my God, she went. What an idiot. Probably got like 10 grand for ratting her out or something too. He probably
I
got a
wanna know how
reward. He's
he
probably
found
on
out.
vacation with his new girlfriend. Absolute one of the great relationship, like post-relationship power moves in the history of both of our countries, Canada and
Maybe
the
the
States.
best. Maybe the best.
Speaking of the best, Dr. Dre back in the studio already. Guy had a brain aneurysm. We were talking about
Unbelievable.
before we came on here. Man, when I was a kid, I remember like my dad and my mom's house were always so different. My mom and my stepdad were very like, yeah, like try to keep it like age appropriate. Not all the time. Like we get away with some shit. At my dad's house, fucking mayhem. He would record me every South Park, like the first season. I must have been like 7 or 8 when that came out. All the WWE pay-per-views, he would just tape for me. All the shit, right? So it was just like I remember being like, I want this Dr. Dre album. But the problem was it was the Chronic 2001. And there was a pot leaf right on the fucking front of it. And I was like, well, my mom ain't ever going to get me that. I remember my dad buying it for me, coming there, having that Dre album, just cranking it out by his pool, man. Like, growing up in the 90s, you guys know, like even my brother is older than me, right? So like he liked that old West Coast rap. And, Dre was the beat maker of all that shit. You like Tupac songs, you like that. Those are all fucking Dre bumping them out. California Love, that's a dope song. And,
Yeah, I couldn't believe
just
when
one
I
of the
read that.
great.
And hey, guess what? He's back in the studio. He's still Dre.
He's still
a
Dre,
day after.
exactly, bro. So shout out! I'm so glad that he's okay because we lost a lot of good famous people in 2020.
Yeah, when he had that
Um,
brain aneurysm, it was scary.
I was
Very-
like, no, not
that
Dre, like
death
not
announcements
Dre.
affect someone. Like remember when Kobe died? I couldn't believe that. Obviously when Chadwick Boseman, and he's not a sports figure, he's a movie icon, but I couldn't believe that, especially so young. And then when I read Dre was in the hospital for that, I mean, I immediately had flashbacks, like you said, the Chronic. But even my favorite guy growing up was Eminem, and who
And he
founded
made
Eminem?
him.
Dre. And then I slowly got into listening to NWA a little bit, kind of voyaging out there. And I think he produced for Tupac. You said Snoop Dogg. I know
Yep.
Exhibit, The Game, Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And
Like, and I
the
mean, he
list
was
goes on.
just, him and Ice Cube were the foundation of NWA. He was
Yep.
on the beats. Cube did the lyrics, and the rest, Eazy-E just had the money to start
Easy.
the operation up because he was
Yep.
running the streets. Because Eazy-E was just a fucking gangster. He never rapped in his life. I don't know if you
Just a
guys ever
G.
saw the movie, but they nailed it apparently when I watched some like behind the scenes stuff with Ice Cube. And apparently, like when they did that scene of him trying to rap at first, that's what it was like. Down the street, in my 6'4", like he couldn't get the time in at all, and then he nailed it, and it was.
I loved how hands-on Ice Cube and Dre was with that movie, just making sure it kind of
They
comes
really,
up.
really stressed authenticity with that movie.
Yeah.
And Dre's an authentic guy. You know, you look at a guy who did so much. Think of all the guys he brought into the mainstream in the rap game, and then you see what he's done with
50
Beats
Cent
by
too.
Dre and sold it to Apple. He's a
Made
fucking
a bazillion dollars.
And now I know when he had the aneurysm, he's going through a divorce with his wife. I've heard they've since decided not to go through with that. You know, I'm just glad no matter what, we need Dre to be okay.
Yep.
We need him to get back when he's healthy. I saw him already in the studio. I was a little concerned. I was like, Dre, like, let's take a week, brother. But like, God bless him. Do whatever you want to do. He's Dre Day.
You can't keep him out.
He's the king.
You can't keep him out. You can't keep kings out of the castle.
Speaking of kings, we're going to find out today, you know, Joe Biden, new president of the United States coming today. We don't really bring that shit up. We try to keep the politics talk out unless there's a giant horned guy who won't eat in jail after being arrested because it's not all organic food. That is funny. Speaking of all the craziness going down with that, the king, Tiger King, waiting on a presidential pardon from Donald Trump. His team thinks Trump is going to do it. In the past, Donald Trump, when it was actually going down the Tiger King stuff in March, they asked him, are you going to pardon Joe Exotic? Because your son, Don, went on there. And he's like, because your son said that. And Trump was like, did Don say that? He's like, yeah, Don would fucking say that. I don't know. Like, essentially, but they're saying that he might get pardoned. And right now, there is a stretch limo on standby outside the Fort Worth lawyer's office. They're waiting on a call from the White House confirming a presidential pardon before heading to pick up Joe Exotic from prison. I personally will show you guys right now. I messaged Jack, the owner of Twitter, trying to get Donald Trump's account reinstated not because I care about censorship. That's a whole other issue, but because I have been lobbying for this Joe Exotic pardon for so long. And this guy could allow Joe Exotic to sit in jail for what Carol Baskin and those other homeless, like, you know, like those zookeeping rats, like they obviously set him up alongside her. There's no way they didn't. Joe Exotic didn't do nothing wrong. Free Joe Exotic.
Free Joe. Free Joe. Jack, what are your comments on this one?
All right, so I did review a lot of the Tiger King today because I did not watch it when the Tiger King craze.
That's a whole other topic.
Boo that man. Boo.
Ooh.
What I've seen is there is a good substantial amount of evidence on Joe Exotic, to be honest.
I'm gonna kill that bitch, Carol Baskin. And
I
wasn't gonna kill her.
And he even grabbed a rifle and said, "This is what I'm gonna need when I'm in my psycho stage," which, like, I mean, that's not normal for a person.
Wait till you watch it live and you see all this.
Wait until you see all the other stuff that you probably haven't even seen yet, bro. Like, it's 7 episodes.
So do we really not
of like
believe that
hillbilly
he might
trailer
have killed
park
her?
plays? No, he didn't kill her. Like, nobody died.
Yeah.
Like, it was a plot to murder.
It was attempted, yeah.
Oh yeah,
It was just for plotting. Like, he
do
had
we believe that he
put a
didn't
hit.
try to, though? That's what I mean.
But
I think
Carol
he was
Baskin,
always willing to pay to kill her, but I don't think he actually sent that guy to go kill her. I think that was like Jeff, who you'll learn about. That was like his guy. I think them and Carol cut a deal and they got Joe fucking locked up.
Yep.
That's what I think happened.
That's what I think.
One of the main guys who ratted now is like, oh, well, I've learned extra stuff and I think more people should be in jail than Joe. It's like he feels bad about it almost.
Yeah.
You know, what's that guy's name? The really fat looking guy who was riding the jet ski at the end. Jay, you know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. One of the best pictures ever.
Yeah, so it's one of the most iconic scenes in cinema, let alone just
big boy riding in on a jet ski with his hair locks flowing in the wind.
I don't regret watching Joe Jonas be an MMA fighter over this show. I'm sorry.
No, that guy. I mean, what? Like that? I can't believe you were watching that. Like,
it was good. It was good. Joe Jonas actually, or was it Nick Jonas?
I think it was Nick Jonas.
It was Nick Jonas. Nick Jonas actually does a very good job. He's believable as an MMA fighter. Believe it or not, watch Kingdom. I swear to God, he sells the job.
I think we chose better here.
I think we had a better choice. No,
I disagree.
I think for next episode, you gotta watch Tiger King.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about it, because if Joe Exotic gets pardoned, like I messaged Jack, the owner of Twitter, I will have 0 followers calling for Donald Trump to be put back in, because you know what? I needed to be able to lobby him to get Joe Exotic out. If they get Joe Exotic out, I'm going to take a little credit for it. Go
Trump
check the
comes
receipt.
back, and that's his
Go
first
check
tweet
the
ever
receipts.
live.
I've been calling for Joe Exotic pardon from the day after I watched that thing. Not
Yeah,
because I
there's only a
necessarily think he's
McGregor.
innocent.
There's
Not that
only
I
a
think-
McGregor fight this week. I'll watch Tiger King all week.
Priorities. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. Hey, well, you know what, Jack? I work midnights. I send you messages at 3, 4 a.m. and you're still up. So like believe me, you got time for a couple episodes. Once you watch, you won't want to stop. Like, bro, it has country music videos where he's not even the voice singing these songs,
Yep.
bro. Like,
It's Electric City.
you have to watch it twice. I watched it through a second time, and there was so much stuff that I missed just from laughing. Like, just from laughing. And it's such a twisted story. It is twisted as hell.
How long is this? Is this one season?
It's one season, 7 episodes. It's like, so you're gonna have to put a few.
You can
hours.
watch it you can watch it in a day if
You
you
can
really
watch it in
want.
a day, dude. There's no way I didn't watch it in a day, day and a half. There's no way. Like,
All
once we
right.
started watching it, I couldn't stop, bro. And I know everybody
It
was
is
like,
addicting.
I remember everyone was like, "Oh, don't watch Tiger King." Oh, da 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 da. I used to be a contrarian like that too, until I did that with Superbad when it first came out when I was in high school. No, not Superbad, when Hangover when it came out. I watched it late because I was like, can't be that funny. Can't be that funny. There's no way.
I wasn't a
Everyone-
contrarian. I was just watching what I thought was a better show, more meant for me at that time.
No, when you work at like this, like Joe Exotic gets out of prison. Joe Exotic TV is coming to Tarps off. I'll mortgage everything in our lives to make sure we can get Joe Exotic on here. Joe Exotic TV. Jay, how good is Joe
Oh.
Exotic TV?
Again, one of the most electric things. I couldn't believe he was just running that casually out of his studio, putting up probably the worst YouTube videos ever, but it was so funny. You couldn't keep your eyes off it.
The
Everything
best
Joe
part is
Exotic
he had,
touched
like-
turned to gold.
Yeah, dude, the best part is like he'd have like 80 people on his live
Yeah.
streams, and he thought he was like world famous, and he like full on believes it, bro. It's
He'd be
fucking
sitting there and
awesome.
he'd be like, "This is Carol Baskin. Fuck Carol Baskin." Just
Yeah,
lie.
dude, he had a blow up doll next to him, and he's like, "This is what I'm gonna do to Carol," and he'd like shot it.
Yeah.
And like that was like years earlier, and then this plot is what made them think he wanted to kill Carol Baskin. Didn't he
Yeah.
always want to kill Carol Baskin, like right on YouTube? Like, how were they this late to the party? Like, like
Wait,
of course
so
he did, but
he
it's
thought
just
he
like,
was-
did he?
He thought he was world famous for having 80 people on his stream.
Yep.
Does that mean we're world
Like-
famous?
Like world famous. Like I'm talking about nationally known famous.
Like, bro,
Wow, I'm famous.
bro, like you just watch, but bro, he ran for Senate or whatever. Like, I think he's from Oregon, or Oklahoma or
forgot
whatever.
about
It's
that.
either Oregon or
Oklahoma would make a lot of sense.
And bro, he got like 3rd, and he was like legitimately ready to jump off a building. Meanwhile, he got like 14 or 15% of the vote, and everyone was like, "That's fucking horrifyingly crazy," because that's the insane zoo guy who carries a gun. Dude, he calls himself. He says he's a gay, gun-toting Trump conservative
Yep.
he's from Kansas.
with a mullet. With a mullet. No, that might be where he's from, but I don't know where his zoo was.
Oh,
What did he?
Yeah.
What was his zoo called? I know Carol Baskin's was Tiger Rescue, but
I forget his. Jack,
was
you just need to
called-
watch this.
yeah, man. I honestly can't stress enough at how
I don't want to give everything away because there's so much you can go into just about this show, like little things, and you start talking about this thing.
his
over
zoo
here.
is in Oklahoma.
the Greater Winewood Exotic Animal Park.
In Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's in Oklahoma. I knew it was Oklahoma. Yeah, dude, he ran for like Senate or governor or something like that. I don't remember the exact branch of government, but like he didn't even do bad. And bro, there's like video of him getting kicked out of like a Donald Trump fundraiser that isn't even on the episode. It's actually just on Joe Exotic TV on YouTube. I super suggest checking it out. But boys, you know what? Breakfast is in me, coffee's in me. Gotta get back to the day. It's Wednesday morning. It's inauguration day. To everybody who's hated Donald Trump, This is your day. Enjoy it. And then please stop fucking talking about it. It's been 4 years, for the love of God. Please stop
Preach.
talking about it. The media, everyone who worked so hard to just be anti, they're going to be taking years off. Every story is going to be about Joe Biden's dog and everything else. So I'm looking forward to relations, hopefully online, getting a lot better so we don't have a wave of uglies coming at Breakfast with the Boys. Now, I want to let everybody know you can follow Breakfast with the Boys on Twitter at breakfast_boys, BOYZ, or Z if you're Canadian, which is stupid. I still say Z. You can follow me on Twitter at cmancuso, MANCUSO 9797, and you can catch all our content at tarpsoftsports.com. You can find Jack on Twitter at Jack Gottsell, GOTSELL, and Jay
At Jay Guacamole, the one
at
and only.
at Jay Guacamole, the one and only. How about some ravioli? It finished off with some fucking cannoli. Nothing better than cannoli. Boys,
Dr.
Breakfast with the
Seuss.
Boys, episode 2 in the books. We'll be back next week. We have a special guest, and she's a fantastic, talented musician. That's all we're gonna say. Big guest next week. Big episode. Breakfast with the Boys. Tarpsoftsports.com. You idiots.